I love our new hyped up intro. They are very fun. My name is Jesse Hildebrand, everyone, and welcome into another super exciting Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants broadcast. If you're joining us for the first time, as so many of you are today because it's really early in the school year, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world, featuring the coolest scientists and explorers on planet Earth. Now, everything we do goes to our YouTube channel, so if you want to check out this program or like 4,000 others in 3 weeks or 3 years, you can do so at this pin right below. Lots to explore and discover on YouTube. We love bringing the adventure right to you. Now, you're catching us at a very exciting time. As you can tell, I'm a pretty excitable guy. I love what I do. But even by the standards of our usual programs, we are in a very special series because we are in our Ambassadors of Conservation series. We are partnering again with the amazing folks at If Then She Can, which is the greatest campaign showcasing the coolest women in science, technology, engineering, and math in the world. And we are partnering with them to feature some of their conservation all-stars, women working to make the world a better place, understand wildlife, help save it in a huge variety of ways. So do check it out. This is program number 3 of 10. We've got 7 more in the next 4 days to come. And to wrap up our first day of this in style, we are bringing back on machine learning scientist Gracie Ermi. She is awesome and brings a totally different approach than all the other 9 programmers we have on this week. It's going to be a wild ride. So I'm really excited to learn how we are going to code to save the world with her. If you guys have questions about animals, about her work, about machine learning, AI, anything you're keen on, there's lots of opportunity for a big Q&A at the end. But without further ado, I'm going to zip it. Gracie, thank you so much for joining us once again, and welcome back to Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, everyone. I hear there are people from all over today, so I'm really excited to get to talk to all of you. My name is Gracie, as you heard, and I'm a machine learning scientist. I'm also a computer scientist. There's like all kinds of names for what you can call me, but my work is all about coding. And I've gotten to combine my computer science, machine learning skills with conservation in some cool ways. So I'm going to tell you about that today.
I can't wait. All right, we are up. We are live. This looks like $1 million. Let's do it.
Perfect. Okay, so I am going to skip to the next slide. Okay, so my name's Gracie, as you heard. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself before I jump into my work, because I think it's so important to talk about how scientists are real people. You know, we're people with families and dogs and cats, and we are just like you. So some things I like to do outside of coding is I love to go to the beach. I live near this really cool beach. I live in Washington State, so a really cool state for going to the ocean, going to the mountains, going to the woods. We have everything near us, which is really fun. I also love photography, so I took some of these pictures. I've gotten into film photography recently, which is really fun, and you know, you have to wait to see your pictures. What a concept! So I've really enjoyed that. I love to knit. I made this sweater. I'm actually wearing the sweater that I put in this picture, and it has tomatoes on it, which is really fun. I live with my husband, Danny, who's in this middle picture here. We have a little dog named Margot, who is this picture of her I thought was so funny because that is definitely the look she gives me like 99% of the time. She just is always judging me for one thing or another. And then I have a bunch of siblings who are really important people in my life. So they're in these pictures on the right here. So getting more into my work, I think it's important to talk about what a computer scientist does and also what we don't do. Before I was a computer scientist, I thought that if you worked in tech, you had to be this expert on every single tech thing ever. And it turns out you don't have to be an expert on everything. So computer scientists, we are all about coding. So maybe you've done some coding in school, but coding is really just writing instructions that a computer can follow. So I'm at my computer a lot, typing away, programming, but I don't have to worry about like fixing my computer if it breaks or building computers. That side of things, I don't really have a lot of knowledge on, which, so I was relieved to learn I don't have to be an expert on those things. And growing up, I was not at all, I never would have thought I would end up in this job. The most like techie class I took, even all the way through high school, was a typing class. So I never learned to code. in high school or middle school. But I did love a lot of other subjects in school, and I loved playing sports, and I was in band all through school. And I had really, really good math and science teachers through school who really inspired me. And so when I got to college, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll study math, maybe I'll study physics. I had really good physics teachers in school. And because of those interests, I was encouraged to take a coding class for the first time ever. So if you've done any coding at all, you're like way ahead of where I was when I got to college. And I was really scared to take this first coding class because I still thought, I'm not a techie person. I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to be good at this. I had a pretty bad attitude about it going into it. But what I learned when I took that first class is that coding is really just this tool that, like any other tool, like reading or writing or math, it's this tool that we can use in all these different areas and make an impact in all these different fields. So you can really combine it with anything else that you're interested in and make a difference in that area, which is what I then got to do when I went off and got my first job. So I ended up working at this really cool company that was doing all of this. They were building technology for wildlife conservation. And that was something I didn't know you could even do. I didn't know people were using technology in conservation. And my background was not in conservation at all. So I was totally new to the wildlife world and totally new to applying technology there. So I got to work on really, really cool projects. These are some pictures from some of those projects I got to work on. So I worked on an elephant census project. We were counting elephants from the sky. I worked on this global fin print project, which was counting sharks and rays underwater. So we had these GoPros set up underwater, and we were using artificial intelligence to detect when a shark or a ray would swim by, and then we would detect them and then identify what type of fish was swimming by, or shark or ray, and then count them and do a survey of where they were living. And then the project I wanted to tell you a little bit more about was this killer whale health metrics project. So this project, I could not believe I got to work on it because orcas have been one of my favorite animals forever. And this project felt so close to home to me because these southern resident killer whales, which is the population we were studying, they basically live in my backyard. So they live in the Puget Sound for a lot of the year, which is the water off the coast of Washington where I live. And they are also really endangered. So it was just an extremely cool project to get to work on. I never thought, when I was taking my coding classes in school, I was never thinking like, oh, maybe someday I'll help whales with this. It was just totally outside of what I thought was the realm of possibilities. And what we were doing in this project and where technology came in was we were working with this really, really cool scientist, Dr. Holly Fernbach. And for many years, decades, she's been studying these whales. And what she does is she flies a drone out over the whales. She has like a special permit to be able to do this. And she takes amazing pictures like this one. And what she then does is she takes all these like thousands of pictures she's taken with the drone back to her lab. And then she spends months sitting there and measuring the whales to be able to understand how healthy they are. So she basically is kind of measuring like how round and fat they are, because if they're really round and fat, that means they have enough food to eat. That means they're, doing well. And this process of doing all of these calculations takes a really long time after she's collected all the images. And so my team and we wrote her some code. We built her a computer program that could automatically identify which whale she was looking at in a picture, and then do like a first pass of placing the measurements that she was going to be taking on that whale, and be able to do some of the more tedious parts of her job a little bit faster. So that was a very, very cool project to get to work on. And then these days, instead of looking at drone pictures, I've kind of zoomed out and I'm now looking at satellite pictures. So satellites are up in space, and they are taking pictures of the Earth down below all the time. There's so many satellites up there taking all these pictures. And what me and my team do now is we build maps from these satellite pictures. And so you can see in this slide here, this is an example of one of our maps over Washington State. And what we're mapping is land use and land cover. So what is actually on the ground? Is it trees? Is it crops? Is it water? Is it buildings? And with this information, we can track how the Earth is changing over time by building these maps at different points in time to see, like, are there more trees? Are there less trees? Has the building area expanded? What's happening with crops? So there's all kinds of metrics we can gather from these maps. And the people who are using these maps are people working in governments and nonprofits and all these different areas. And they're all working to save the planet. So we're helping them to understand risks and to anticipate change and to monitor the Earth that we're all working to protect. Okay, but what does this have to do with whales, right? Because that's what I'm always thinking. How can I help the whales? What does this have to do with the whales? And there are some ways that my current work does actually affect whales. So we can imagine someone out, all kinds of conservation experts can use this data, these maps that we build, and they can use them to help understand the effects of different projects that they are working on. So for instance, we can look at this Klamath River Dam removal project. So the Klamath River goes through California and Oregon in the United States. And there was this big project over the last few years to remove some dams along that river. And there are a few reasons why they wanted to do this, but one of those reasons is to help salmon be able to migrate more easily through the river. So helping salmon helps the orcas, because the southern resident orcas, the ones that I worked with, they eat only salmon. So so helping the salmon helps the orcas. That's a big part of why they're endangered, is because they can't find enough salmon to eat. So any way we can get more salmon to them is a big win for the orcas. So someone working on this project could use our maps to be able to understand what changes have taken place since they removed the dams. So this is an example of a satellite image. So I look at these all day long. This is a big part of what I do now. And this is over the Klamath River in some of those places where they removed the dams. So if you look in these yellow circles, these are highlighting, and this is a picture from 2022. So these yellow circles are highlighting where some of these lakes or reservoirs were behind the dams. So dams were kind of blocking off a lot of water and created these lakes because the water wasn't able to flow freely with the dam in place. And so we can compare that to this picture from 2024 after the dams were removed. And you can see now within these yellow circles, hopefully you can see, it's kind of small, but the river is now, you can really see like the shape of the river now versus the shape of these lakes that were there before. So I'll flip back and forth a few times, you can see. This is also a lot of what I do, is flip back and forth between satellite pictures to see what has changed. And so where our maps can come in, it was kind of hard, like we said, it's kind of hard to tell with just these satellite pictures, like what exactly is happening. So our maps can kind of help you understand what is happening on the land. So it's kind of like color coding the land to more easily understand it. So again, this is that same area, and in the circles is those reservoirs, those lakes that were there from the dams being in place. And then afterwards you can see, oh, sorry, and the blue is water. That is probably good to say. Blue is water, green is trees, orange is crops, red is buildings. So, so there's these big chunks of water, these big lakes, and then afterwards, in 2024, you can see the flow of the river. And so someone who's working on this project might also wonder what other changes have happened, because I'm sure they kind of expected this type of change to happen. Once they remove the dams, those lakes would kind of disappear and the river would be able to flow more freely. So they might also be wondering, like, what other changes have taken place? Like, what were the other effects of removing these dams? And so something else I work on is this change detection stuff, which we're using some machine learning technology here. But again, it's just a lot of coding and satellite images. And we can also give them a map of like what else has changed in this area. Even if it stayed, trees for most of the year, maybe there are some changes within the trees that they want to go take a closer look at. So this kind of can give them, because this is a really big area to have to try to monitor, we can kind of help them focus in on areas where something interesting might have happened that they might want to take a closer look at. So these pink areas are where other changes have happened that we detected from those satellite images. Okay, so that is what I work on. There's all kinds of other applications of this mapping stuff too, which is always really fun to learn about. There's like, we can help with food security sort of stuff. We can help with deforestation tracking. So there's all kinds of different ways we can apply these maps to help with conservation related problems. So it's very, very fun to get to work on. And I wanted to also highlight a few ways that you can use tech for conservation at home. So these are 3 apps that you can download with your parents' permission. But they're really cool apps that can help you learn about maybe animals and wildlife far away from you, but also animals and wildlife really close to you. So Merlin Bird ID, that's a really neat app that you can record bird songs that you hear in your area, and it will help you identify what bird you're hearing. Seek is one of my favorite apps of all time. I use it all the time. It kind of feels like you're collecting Pokemon. So you can take pictures of animals and plants and insects and even like I've tried, what does it say my dog is? And it will tell you what type of species you're looking at. So that's really helped me learn more about the plants and animals in my area, which I think is so important to just know about what's in your own neck of the woods. And then Fathomverse is a game that you can play. And that one, you're going to be looking at like pictures of species in the deep ocean. So it's probably a lot of species you've never seen before. I had never seen a lot of them when I was playing. And you'll learn about how to identify different species. And then by playing the game, you're actually giving scientists data that they are using to be able to further our research of deep ocean animal species. So you actually, all of these apps, you're really helping scientists with real conservation research. So
cool.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to leave you with this one last question. What problem do you want to solve? So I feel really lucky and excited that I've been able to contribute to problems that I care about with my technology skills. So I think that no matter what you want to do someday, coding and technology can really help you be able to get there. Even like the folks I know who are wildlife conservation experts, like a lot of them have to use coding or have had to like teach themselves coding. So if you can get those skills, start to get those skills now or in the next few years, like that will really help you no matter what you decide to do someday. And I can't wait to go to see what you all go out and do and what problems maybe we can work on together in the future.
Very, very cool. Thanks, Gracie. And I love that this is your final message, because this is something that's come about in both of our previous Ambassadors for Conservation series. Like, science is an endlessly iterative process. Like we keep learning, we keep creating, we keep being curious, and we keep finding out new things about the world around us and how to make it a better place. And so if you're kids and you're keen on being a scientist or keen on just supporting science, there's so many things out there for you to do and learn. It's like the golden age of science and exploration. And you have tools at your fingertips like those apps that just, I mean, Gracie, when you and I were kids like that, it simply wasn't a thing. You know, we walked uphill both ways in the snow and we watched Bull By the Science Guy videos, and that was our entire science childhood. And now, if you're keen, you can literally see what a robot on Mars has seen, or you can go live on an ROV dive underneath the ocean to see what's there, or you can play along with these apps. And I mean, I've never even heard of Fathomverse. So that's super cool. I'm going to go check that out. But literally, in the summer with my buddy back in Toronto, I went and I had an app. We used Merlin to try and figure out what bird was calling for months that he didn't know what it was. 2 seconds, there it was, right? Like, it's magic that these are out there, and they are all free and they're all accessible for families, teachers, whatever. So I really encourage you, particularly Seek. We use it for some programs that we do. Lots of exciting opportunities there. Crazy. That was a lot of fun. We're going to dive in with questions now. We have so many classes with us. Again, 438 kids, our biggest audience so far in the Ambassadors for Conservation series. So I'm going to head to Ms. Janko's class, our Fantastic Fives, in just a second. Before I do, is there a big question? Is there a big thing that you'd like to see AI or machine learning solve within the realm of conservation or wildlife more broadly that you can share with us? Any sort of grandest challenge? I don't know. It's a tough question.
Yeah, we hear in the news all the time about like AI, and it kind of has maybe more of a scary connotation to it right now when we hear about it in the news. But there are so many people who've been working in the conservation space on AI for like many, many years before we started to hear a lot about it in the news. And so with all these like great leaps that are sort of being made in like ChatGPT and stuff, like I really hope a lot of effort and like a lot of those advancements will be applied back to conservation, and like, you know, resources will be devoted there as well, because there's people working on really important things that AI could really accelerate the field. And we just
it doesn't make the news very often. We all hear, you know, we see the imagery, we see ChatGPTs, but like behind the scenes, some of the coolest scientists on planet Earth are using AI to make really amazing leaps in our understanding of science. This happens a lot in space. We've actually done whole AI on conservation programs before, and actually the Nobel Prize was given out last year for scientists that use it for how the things of your body work. And we did that with AI. Things that would have taken scientists decades or centuries to do, we could do in like weeks or days with AI. And it's a really exciting time for the field, as you'll all know, having heard it on the news every day since you were born, basically. Great question. All right. Fantastic Fives. I know you're just an audio spot, but come on in and take us away with our first question. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. We've got Reedy who's asking just a group question. Perfect. I know she's okay for visual, but go ahead, Reedy.
Have you ever been out with the whales and have you studied?
Ooh.
Oh, such a good question. So unfortunately, when I was doing a lot of that research on that project, it was like the height of COVID times. And so I never got to go out on the boat with them, which was so sad. But
we'll get you out there. We know a lot of whale people, Gracie. If you want to get out in a whale science boat, just let us know.
Okay, yeah, count me in anytime.
I want to stress, though, for our kids that might not have ever seen a whale, on both Canada and the US's coast, there's tons of whale watching. It will change your life to see a whale in person. It's one of the great joys that you can have on this planet. It's amazing that animals can be that big. Literally, the biggest animals in the history of the world ever are whales, bigger than any dinosaur. So get out, get on a boat. It'll change you forever. Cool. Mrs. Dixon's class, our Guardian Angel School, come on in, unmute your mic. In fact, all our teachers, you can all unmute your mics. I promise we won't hear you till I bring you in. But Mrs. Dixon, come on in and take us away. Hey, guys. Hello, Ottawa. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Do we have a question for Gracie?
From our class? Yes. Does anyone who has a question? A really good grade 3 question. Ashra.
Did you ever help anybody?
Did you ever help anybody?
Help any others?
Or any other species, Gracie? Species, people, anyone?
Yeah. So one of my other favorite projects I got to work on was with elephants. All over different countries in Africa, we were detecting elephants from pictures that had been taken from airplanes and helping to count them so that we could understand where they lived and how many there were and kind of estimate their population size.
This is where sort of AI shines best, is that it's really hard for people to assess like a whole group of animals, especially if there's thousands of them. And AI can do that like that, which is super cool. It's just how machine brains work differently from ours. But it's was our entire feature of conservation with AI in our last program last year was in the Serengeti with elephants, with zebra, with other species like that. So I love this question. Thanks, guys. All right, Adam Acaneza, Sir Adam Beck Public School, come on in, unmute your mic, and you are good to go. Hey, guys.
Hold on.
Hold on. We've got an echo. This is half the fun. There should be some sort of weird audio thing in every broadcast. I think you should be good. Let's see. Talk to us.
Hi.
We've still got the echo. Okay, we'll come back. Turn off the other device and it should be fine. And worst case, you can share in the chat, but I love your energy. That's awesome, guys. We're going to head to Mrs. Thrasher's class. Welcome in Birmingham. Man, I love when we have Alabama classes. Also, everybody's got multiple devices on. You guys are so excited for the program that you just turned on all the computers, and I love that. It's very nice. While we're waiting for you folks to turn off your second computer, or at least to mute it, I'm going to head to Miss Barry's class, grade 3s. Come on in. Fingers crossed. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi, welcome in.
Are we in?
You're in. You're good. Do you have any questions for Gracie?
We have a question. Max.
Have you have you ever saved a whale?
Saved a whale.
I hope, yes, I hope that our research contributed to that. It's hard to know, we directly saved that specific whale right there. But the fact that this population keeps having more babies that are born, like that is a really big deal. And we've seen that in the last few years. So
sweet. Great. Yeah. Great question, Guardian Angels. All right, Mrs. Thrasher's class. We're heading to our grade 7s. Fingers crossed. See, talk to me.
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear us?
Hi, welcome in. Nice to see you again.
Okay. All right. Does anybody happen to have a question about anything she does?
No.
You were so good at explaining it, Gracie, that we have no questions.
Wait. What?
What's her favorite part about doing this?
What is your favorite part about doing this job?
Sweet. Thanks,
That's
buddy.
a great question. Yeah. I love getting to work with my team. There's just really nice, smart people, and I'm learning new stuff from them every day. And we're all really excited about like saving, working on these problems together and getting data to scientists who are working on the ground. So it's a very collaborative job. I was worried maybe that coding would be really isolated, like just working by myself all day, but it's really collaborative and my team is great. So
I find this about people in STEM in general. I highlight this point a lot. Like it sounds kind of daunting doing as much school as someone like you does to get to where you get. But that whole time you're working with people who are just as nerdy about things that you're nerdy about, and you have a lot of fun together, and you get to do cool, fun projects with really excited people in some of the coolest places on planet Earth. And I think if there's a better job than that, I don't know what it is. It's why we do what we do at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. So thank you for that answer. That's great. And by the way, Mrs. Thrasher's class, you guys have the coolest looking classroom of all time. I don't know what this like hip, cool, like it looks like an awesome cafe. And well done. Again, we didn't have that when we were kids.
Yeah.
Let's head back to Sir Adam Beck. Fingers crossed on the mics. Let's go. Hey.
How do you get the pictures from the satellite?
Yeah.
That is such a good question. Yeah. Okay, so that part is also kind of taken care of by people who are have different expertise than me. So honestly, Microsoft is the company that we work with to get all of those images. So they are doing some, techie magic behind the scenes that I honestly don't know that much about, but they are able to get us all of that data. There's like new pictures being taken every single day all over the globe. It is a huge amount of data. And they get it to us in a way that we can use it. So if you're interested in that, there are so many important jobs that people are doing to be able to get this data to the people who are using it so that we can actually do cool stuff with it. So, yeah.
Your answer to that makes me think of something which I've never thought of it in quite this way before. But for hundreds of years, for most of the history of science, the challenge was in getting the data. Like if you were going to go do biological surveys, you had to get on a ship and cross the ocean and then spend months and months and months collecting all these samples and then bring them back. And it was many years to do that. Now we can collect endless data like that with cameras, with satellites, with all these things. And the challenge is making sense of it and finding out the things that we want from it, which is where things like machine learning come in such handy. And that's very interesting that the world has shifted so much in such a short period of time. So for kids, the world is your oyster. If you're keen on things like this, you can really make a big difference, way bigger than the most lauded scientists in the world did 100 years ago. You can make a bigger difference than them from your laptop if you know what you're doing with coding, which is very, very special and cool.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
So on this note, for kids that are starting out, we highlighted a few cool apps that they can use to get involved with science at home. If they want to learn coding, is there an organization that they should check out? Is there a place that they can go online to do this, or classes they should take in school? What's your advice?
Yeah. So code.org has a ton of really great resources. Maybe some of you have used code.org for like the week of coding that happens in December, or maybe all throughout the year. And I think Python, if you're looking for a coding language to start with, I think Python is a really great one to learn. That's the one I use every day. And it's also a really good one to learn as your first coding language. So it's really useful in all different areas. Yeah, that's it. And any coding classes that are available to you, I say take them. Yeah.
I really should do this personally. Like, I've got to say, I never learned coding as a boy. It wasn't stuff that was taught in school. It came just about after I finished, and it's a skill set that can really change your life and help you think in a different way. And it just like music does, just like sports does, if you learn coding, it just helps you envision the world in a different sense. And I think that's a really special skill to have. So I can't encourage you to check it out enough. For our Canadian audience, Digital Moment is a big partner of ours. They have a lot of coding workshops, so they're sort of Canada's biggest one, but code.org is awesome. And every single person in machine learning or AI we've ever brought on highlights Python. Yeah. So there's something there. That'll be the first one I check out. I'm going to go do that right now, I think, when we're done the broadcast, and really appreciate that. All right. And then Girls Who Game or Girls Who Code. I've seen that before. Thank you, our Sir Adam Beck Junior Public School. It's a great resource. Let's take two more questions from our YouTube friends, and then we'll wrap up not long after that. Miss Lake's class wants to know, how long have you been doing this job, Gracie?
Oh, yes. Since 2017, so 8 years about. Yeah.
We've been professionals about the same amount of time. Way to go. And then a much more difficult question, no pressure at all, even though this is on YouTube forever. Can AI take coding jobs away, and can AI code itself? Great question.
Oh, yes. Okay, so that is a great question. So I actually do use some of the AI tools that help with coding. So you can you can ask a ChatGPT like AI, like, can you help me write this piece of code that I need to write? And it's really good at, like, there's some things that I have to Google every single time I use this same, like, I want to do this same small thing. So instead of Googling it now, I can just be like, hey, Copilot, will you write this code for me, this like few lines of code? And it's really good at that kind of stuff. But I think we still really, really need people who know how to code, because AI is not just going to perfectly write the code every time. You still have to check what it did. You have to be able to troubleshoot it and debug it when it gets it wrong, because it will get it wrong. So I think we still need people who have a deep understanding of code to be able to then use these AI tools as like an assistant to be able to help them do their job a little faster. But yeah.
I love that answer. That's really, really neat. And so, I mean, over this year, let's face it, we're going to be doing a lot of AI programs for our kids that are keen, because it's just of such interest to classes. If you want sort of the ethical side or use in education, we've done some programs on that with librarian Chelsea Humphreys last year. So lots to explore and discover. Stay tuned for more AI. We've got lots coming down the pipeline for you all, and I really appreciate your questions. All right. Let's head back for a few other questions, and then we'll wrap up. We're going to do just a few before we end today. But Mrs. Dixon's class, if you want to come back in for one more, you are good to go. Let's unmute and take us away. Hey, guys. Perfect. Take your time. Oh, good. Hey.
What's your question?
What's the most endangered animal, and how can we help?
Oh, did you hear that?
Hey, yeah.
The most endangered animal. Maybe Jesse knows the answer to that question.
there are some that are really, really close to extinction. So there's literally animals where there's like one or two of them left. where there isn't anything we can do because we literally don't have the resources to do that, which is very sad. For most animals that are endangered literally means you're on, like, there's not many left. We really need to take urgent action to protect them. So, I mean, I'm not speaking for you, but like everything that you've talked about today helps endangered animals. And this is the essence of why we're doing this series. The more we can understand about them, the more we can process that data and use it in a useful way, the better we'll protect every endangered species. But hard to know what the most dire straits animal is. It really depends on a lot of things.
Yeah. And I'll say for whales too, like if you see them out in the wild, the one thing you can really do is stay far away from them. That is like huge. It's so tempting to go closer. I feel that temptation too. Like I want to go see them closer and see what they look like, but if you do ever see them, just stay as far away as you can.
This is something that we're going to hear echoed throughout the entire series. And in fact, every conservationist we ever bring on, you should always give wildlife space. Wildlife is not meant to be held. Wildlife is not meant to be touched. You want to give it as much space as it needs, and that'll keep it wild. You don't want wildlife reliant on people for anything. This is a universal message, no matter what speaker we have on. So I really appreciate that question. All right. Fantastic Fives. We're going to head to you. We're going to head to Miss Agoneza's class, and then we'll wrap up with Miss Frashers after that. Come on in, Miss Jenko. Take us away.
Oh, it's me. We are like dumbfounded for questions as well.
That's fine.
Maybe more about AI itself.
Yes.
And is there a place we could go and know that we're looking at reputable AI?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah, reputable AI, like what it's telling you is reputable.
Yeah, we'll take it that way. I really like that question.
Yeah. So I think with any AI responses that you're working with, it is really important to check the sources. So even if, when you Google something and now it gives you like an AI generated response, that is not always going to be correct at all. So it will still give you like the links to where it sourced that information. And sometimes it just kind of combined it in a way that wasn't right, or, it made some assumptions that weren't right. So I think just clicking on the links that it points you to about where it got that information is always really critical. So no matter what AI you're interacting with, just always have your like critical thinking hat on and be like, is this right? I'm going to double check. That's really important. Yeah.
The great way of thinking about it is that, like, for our entire lives, things that you read online or saw online were likely true, and that is not true anymore. So you should always go into any image, video, text, and really consider who's sharing it, why are they sharing it, what might be their motivations. These are big things to think about as classrooms, especially as grade 3 classrooms. And so I'd encourage you to check out the program that we had with Chelsea on last year. She highlighted this in a really great way. And this sounds like a really goofy name for a book, but let me pull it up. Killer Underwear Invasion is the best book on misinformation I've ever read in my life. And it's for kids of all ages. And so putting this up on a banner, I really encourage you, check this out. This is true for not just AI, but any topic. It's a really great way of sort of scoping out the truth from lies that you might encounter online. All right, we're going to head Ms. Agoneza's class. You guys shared a great one. Oh, if you want to share it live, come on in, unmute your mic, and you're good to go. Hey.
Are we ever gonna learn how to teleport?
Yeah.
Whoa.
No pressure.
That I hope so. I have no idea how close we are to that, but that would be very convenient. I would love to teleport instead of having to drive or fly.
We've had a bunch of physicists on that are pretty clear that it's unlikely to be happening. I like where your head's at, though. It would be cool to teleport, maybe not ever. But there's some other cool stuff that we can do, I promise.
High-speed trains, that'd be great. First, let's get
high-speed trains, like Japan and Europe have. We can bring those to Canada and the US. The future is out there, and it's easy. Mrs. Thrasher's class, we'll wrap up with you guys. If you do have one final question, fantastic, and then we'll bring in everyone for a big thank you and farewell. Come on in, guys. And any other questions for Gracie? No? Yes.
Okay. What made you want to do what you do?
Ooh, what should we do?
Okay, so when I was your age and like into high school and college, I was really indecisive about what I wanted to do. And I was really stressed about the idea of having to like pick one thing to study and then have to like go into that field and do that for the rest of my life. And so what really excited me about coding was that I could apply it in any field. So like tomorrow I could go decide to work in healthcare or like in sports or music. Like there's, computer programmers are needed in every single field. So I was like, it relieved a lot of my stress about having to like pick one thing. So that's why I was really interested at first. And now I've gotten to do such cool stuff. I'm like never leaving. So
Well, and for kids that might want to become you when they grow up, like the options are so much broader than they were. Like there's so many people to teach us as a big part of what they do. We highlighted a few resources you can start on immediately to learn to code and just get into this realm in a big way. And I can't encourage you enough. Do one of those cool apps, see what it's like to sort of play around with science online for free in your spare time. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy Seek personally as well. So these are some great resources to keep learning going. Gracie, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for sharing all this today. And before I ask you sort of a final query, I do want to note I really encourage our classes, check out ifthenshecan.org. Some really, really inspiring, amazing people on that to learn from. And if you want to check out our ambassador series, we've got 7 more programs this week with some of the coolest scientists and explorers on planet Earth. Before we bring in our kids to say thank you and farewell, is there a final message you want to leave all our kids with about coding or coding to save the world today?
Oh, I just hope that you'll give coding a try. I think when I was learning to code, I had a lot of feelings of like, oh, it seems like other people are better at this than I am. And like, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this because it's not just coming to me really easily. But I think just because it's hard doesn't mean that you're bad at it. So that is something I still tell myself all the time when I'm learning something new. I'm like, okay, it's hard, but it's going to be worth it to learn this. And sometimes you just got to keep practicing until you get something. So anyone can learn to code, and I hope that you'll try it out.
No better message than that. Thank you so much for that. I think, when I was a boy, when I met experts like you, I always assumed they were super good at everything from the time they were really little, and they stayed super good forever. And most people suck at a lot of things and fail at a lot of things and then try hard and then just work through it through perseverance to end up becoming an expert. And I think that's a fantastic message to leave with. So really appreciate you joining to cap off our first day for Ambassadors of Conservation. And as you'll know from before, we bring in all our classes to say thank you and farewell. So Fantastic Fives, Miss Barry's class, Miss Aganeza's class, Miss Dixon's class, Miss Trash's class. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.